The top tips for better serves. So ironically, the serves are something that give us quite literally, the yips sometimes. We're not very confident in our ability to hit a serve offensively. Maybe we get into a stressful point when we're playing and we start to get all nervous and we get small. We're gonna go over the tips on how to fix that and also make sure that your serve is gonna be much better overall. The video is gonna be nice and short so that we have less listening and more pickling. So very first tip when we serve is a lot of times we're adding too many variables into our serve. So one of the reasons why it's inconsistent is there's too many things going on. The more things going on, the more things that can go wrong. And the very first thing that we often do is we turn our hips sideways. Now, a lot of times we do this because we want to get some more power. And a powerful serve is important. Trust me, I'll show you how to get plenty of power on this, but nothing is more important than getting this thing in. So what's kind of funny, and when you watch some of the pros serve, and a lot of it's just because if it's on TV, it doesn't look like they're doing a whole lot. It looks like they're just kind of starting the point and like, hey, let's go all have fun. They're doing a lot more than it looks like, but everything is very repetitive and it's consistent. And that's because we can only score points in pickleball on our own serve. So it's very important to set it up in a very good way to get a weak return. That's the only goal of the serve, is to get a return that lands halfway from the baseline. If you're serving and they're finding the returns here, that's gonna be tough for you because remember, the third shot's really hard, we know that, and it's even harder from back here. So the only goal of the serve is to try to get a weak return. So step number one is if we're turning sideways too much, we're asking for too much timing-wise this way. Meaning if I don't turn my hips enough, because maybe I'm nervous and I'm hitting it, it's a tough point. We get a little smaller, we get T-Rex arms, I like to call it, and we don't move as much. Well, this ball often goes wide to the right. We have to serve cross court because we're not fully turning. If we're really excited and we really try to rip it, a lot of times we do this in golf, is we really try to rip this thing. We over-rotate our hips and then we hit it wide out this way. They're both out, both of it is our partner serve or it's a side out. So if our hips are sideways, then we're opening ourselves up for this perfect timing that we need to be able to do this. So let's face our hips to where we're gonna go. Now, obviously this isn't gonna give us enough power to be able to do it this way. So we're gonna stagger our feet just a bit. So now we're in a little bit more of a lunge. So we're very athletic here. We can still turn with our hips a little bit, but my body is facing where I want the ball to go. So a lot of the work's already done for me. So my body's facing where I want to go because it's dictated by my hips. This is the powerhouse of your body right here, where all your power comes from. So use it. We're gonna use a lot more legs and shoulders than you're probably doing already. And that's because there are bigger muscles and they're a lot more consistent. They're a lot more accurate than just getting wristy. So my hips are forward. I'm gonna use my legs. I'm gonna already pre-load up, and so my legs are down. I'm gonna face my paddle out, drop the ball onto the paddle, and stand up and extend. So here, stand up and extend. So that was very simple. It was very repeatable. Doing that, practicing that is the same shot if you're trying to hit it in the middle to someone's backhand if they're righty, or if you're trying to hit it a little bit more cross court. Very, very subtle differences in where I follow through. So kind of like our dinking videos, where we want to make sure that we are essentially throwing the ball to where we want to go when we're dinking. And if you haven't seen that video, we'll link that below on how to make our dinks better. It's just like we're tossing the ball. This is the same thing. It's just like we're tossing the ball. It's a pretty far toss, so that's why we have these powerful paddles in order to be able to do it, but it's still as if we could. So that means we're not getting super wristy, because that wouldn't get there. We're just dropping the ball onto the paddle and extending up. Very smooth, very repeatable. Quick tip is if you're getting nervous when playing and you're having trouble hitting this ball long, obviously more practice, keeping it consistent is gonna help, but actually in a match, it's crunch time. We wanna fix it right now, right away. You can actually step back. There's no rules that you have to stand here. Obviously it's making it even further, but if you feel like, gosh, this court's not that big. I came from tennis and I'm used to really hitting this thing a lot harder. I'm having trouble and I'm hitting these balls long on the other side. It's okay to scoot back a little bit. If that makes you feel better in order to be able to properly use your legs and your arms, that's totally fine. Obviously, you're gonna have the biggest advantage if you're hugging this line as well, but we know we have options when we're out there. Also, we can drop the ball now. So they've amended the rules so that the drop serve is no longer provisional. This is 2022, and it's actually a full-blown allowed serve. We can drop the ball. Yes, we can drop it into the court. We just have to hit it from behind the court. Same thing. The drop serve is done the exact same way. Let's keep our hips faced where we want to go. That way, we're not asking for perfect timing here, and we're able to be a lot more consistent. Paddle's going to be out and ready. We're going to drop it and stand up and hit it. It's basically the same thing as your ground stroke. If we were to hit a ground stroke on a third shot drive, or we're hitting a ground stroke from the baseline, same thing. So don't overthink the serve. It is, yes, it's a little participatory. You're starting the point. I know everyone's looking at you, and if you miss it, it feels like you just ruined everything. But it's simple in its execution. Keep your hips facing forward. Let's get into a little bit of a lunge so my feet are staggered. We're just going to drop the ball either onto the paddle or onto the ground, and we're going to stand up into it. So just note the extension of the legs. So we're just down into a lunge. We're up, and the arm is just following through where I want it to go. If we have a tendency to do this when we're serving, remember we have to have perfect timing here because this ball's in, it's in, and now this ball is going to start to be out. As opposed to when we served where our entire path of the paddle was going to be dictating the ball going in. Obviously things can happen, but we're keeping as much in line as we can so that the serve can be done over and over and over again. You can be nice and comfortable starting a serve and getting ready to kick some butt on the rest of the point. Hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell below. Absolutely the biggest, best, and freest way to say thank you for these videos if you received something of value today. And of course, next time you see us around, hop on in.